All right, NFC West, some great teams. At one point last year, we thought they'd put 3 teams in the playoffs. They ultimately got 2, the Seahawks and the Rams. Let's spin it ahead to 2021. And we're going to do this on a scale of 1 to 10, speed round style, scale of 1 to 10, the impact of Kyler Murray as a potential free agent recruiter for the Cardinals, Chris.
Ooh, it's up there for sure. Like, I don't know if it's as high as, the Mahomes, the Brady, some of those guys, but I'm going to put it at about, I'm going to say a 7. 7. I'm 7, 8-ish, but I'll go with 7. And I think, I also just, I look at them and go, they could use, I think, another big-time receiver. If you're going to play that way, they need more firepower. They want to open the field up, do that. Not that they need to go out and spend $20 million on a receiver, but another guy who's opposite of DeAndre Hopkins where you go, wait, he's one-on-one? He's going to beat your guy, and you're in trouble. You better watch out for that. But I'll say 7. What about you?
I'm going to say 6. If they had made it to the playoffs, I'd feel more strongly about it. There's going to be so many other teams out there that I think are going to attract the guys who get cut or who become free agents and don't have other teams throwing a bunch of money at them. So they're going to take one-year deals. I think we're going to see a lot of one-year deals, and you're going to have guys gravitate toward the teams that are the clear contenders. The Cardinals are in, I think, a fairly narrow band of, I don't know which side of the line they're on. We've got the teams that we know are contenders, the teams that we are confident aren't, and then there's maybe a few where it's like it could go either way.
You're right.
And
agreed.
And I don't think we've seen enough from the Cardinals that Kyler Murray in and of himself is going to be able to recruit a bunch of guys to join the team. And I don't think it's in his nature to be kind of vocal and constantly texting someone and pushing that. That's just not who he is.
Yeah.
It's not who he is. And that's fine. We all have to be true to who we are. He's true to who he is, and I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to constantly pester someone, come join us, come join us, come join us, come join us, come join us. Larry Fitzgerald, what's the impact to the Cardinals if Fitzgerald retires, scale of 1 to 10?
Like a 4 or 5, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful to Larry Fitzgerald. I don't. I mean, again, as a first ballot Hall of Famer, he's awesome. I think the main impact of him on the team is just leadership, work ethic, things he does like from that aspect. But as far as just pure ability and playmaking and all of those type of things, I don't look at that if he's not there as a huge loss to their football team. Yes, he does some things where he still run blocks well and does a lot of things that way, but I don't think it's a make or break thing for their offense. And listen, I don't like saying that because I really like Larry Fitzgerald.
Well, but that's why they would need another receiver, because I think we're all operating under the assumption he's going to retire.
Right.
I don't think he's ever taken it this long into his offseason to say he's coming back.
Right.
And he's also due to become a free agent. And I remember there was a time when I thought he was going to end up in Minnesota because he was a ball boy for the Vikings back in '98 when Chris Carter and Randy Moss and Jake Reed were there. And his father, Larry Fitzgerald Sr., sports writer in the Minnesota area, has said in the past, now it's been a while since he last said it, that he believes Larry will end up with the Vikings at some point. At this point, though, I think he's Arizona or no one. He's another guy who can do anything he wants post-football, and he'll be successful at it. Whether it's broadcasting, I've thought at times maybe he'll get into politics. I think he could have a real impact there. But he's taking his time, and he's entitled to that. But the longer he takes, just like Drew Brees. Well, no, with Drew Brees, the longer he takes, the more we think he's coming back.
Yeah.
With Larry Fitzgerald, the longer he takes, the more we think he's going to retire. And I think 4 or 5 is the right range as well if he retires, because he's not an integral part of that offense anymore. Impact of the Rams losing Brandon Staley, their defensive coordinator, who's now the head coach of the same stadium Chargers. 1 to 10, what's the impact?
I mean, it's low to me. And that's not anything against Brandon Staley, but I'm going to say, 1 or 2. Because I just think that highly of Raheem Morris. I think Brandon Staley's awesome. He's definitely one of the best defensive minds in the game. I think Raheem Morris is damn good too. He's right up there. So I think what he'll be, it'll look a little different like we talked about earlier, but I don't think it's going to be like, oh man, wow, this scheme just doesn't fit their team and it's not sound and it doesn't make sense. No way. Raheem is the real deal Holyfield for sure. So I don't think it's a huge blow to them. I think they got a gift in getting him as defensive coordinator.
I still think it's more than one to lose Staley. The rave reviews he got, just the mere fact that the continuity factor isn't there, I think it's a 4 or a 5.
Okay.
Just because you didn't hire Brandon Staley with the idea you'd be replacing him after 1 year. You wanted him to be there for a while. Just the disruption that comes from new defensive coordinator. But I agree with you. Raheem Morris could do a great job, and it's easier to do a great job when you've got Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on that defense. Impact of the 49ers losing their defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, to the Jets 1-10.
Well, this is to me a little bit of a greater one here. I'm going to go with like a 7. I don't know. I don't know DeMeco Ryans. I haven't seen him, be defensive coordinator yet. I got a lot of evidence on Raheem Morris and a lot of evidence just from this past year to go, damn, he did some awesome things with like not that talented of a defense there in Atlanta when he took over. Saleh's special. His energy, his leadership, and even me. I don't always love that Seattle scheme, but he threw enough little curveballs in there to make it not as predictable as maybe some other people who running that scheme. But DeMeco Ryans unproven at this point. I don't doubt that he can be a really damn good coach, and he's been around football, but he has not done it. So that's to me where I'll go with like a 7 here.
Now, Raheem Morris has a lot more coaching experience than DeMeco Ryans. Morris was not a defensive coordinator in the NFL for the first time until last year.
I know. But he was acting like a defensive coordinator when I was with him in Tampa Bay. He was phenomenal. He really was. And the people he learned from and was around, whether it's Monty Kiffin, Rod Marinelli, Mike Tomlin, Joe Barry, who's the new defensive coordinator up in Green Bay. I mean, they were all like defensive coordinators. They were amazing. So I know it doesn't. I didn't really think about that aspect of it, but it doesn't affect my decision either way.
One thing I'd never known, and if I did, I'd forgotten it. During his time with the Buccaneers, he left for a year to be the defensive coordinator at Kansas State.
Right.
Then was back.
And then went back.
The following season.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's
strange.
Did that lead to them taking the quarterback, out of Kansas State, Freeman?
Oh.
I can't remember
Josh
that.
Freeman.
Yeah, I think. Or was it
2009?
Before or after?
That was
remember.
2009. That was Raheem's first year as head coach, 2009.
Right.
That was the year they drafted Josh Freeman,
Yep.
who did well until Greg Schiano became the coach, and then he was done. All right, one more. Impact of the Seahawks changing offensive coordinators, setting aside the Russell Wilson factor. Just Shane Waldron in for Brian Schottenheimer, 1-10.
Well, I certainly think it's an improvement. I do. Schottenheimer, there's things I like, but Waldron's going to be able to bring different aspects and angles to this offense that they have not had. So impact there. Again, I'm not going to go, oh, it's a 10. It's going to be so awesome. But I'll go with the cop-out number 7 again.
I'll agree with you. The question is, will Waldron have the cojones to become the kahuna?
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.